Honestly, urgent. Today, we're diving into something really special. It's a deeply personal and honestly urgent message from Master Hanshi Deena Naidu. This is a lesson on life, on why we behave the way we do, and on the soul's journey, and he believes it's something we all need to hear right now. And he starts with this. I am about to share something with you that I've never expressed before. I mean, wow. Right away, that signals this isn't just another talk. This is something he's held back, something he feels is incredibly important. It's like he's saying, okay, lean in, listen closely to this. So here's the roadmap for how we're going to walk through his teachings. First, we'll get into the urgency behind his message. Then we'll dive right into his core concept, the soul levels. From there, we'll look at the big obstacles he sees, the path forward, and finally, what all of this really means for you and your own journey. Okay, let's kick things off with section 1. This isn't just some academic lecture for him. It's coming from a place he calls profound affection. He truly believes that he'll meet all of us again after this life is over, and he wants us to be ready. That really frames this whole thing not as a theory, but as essential preparation. And here's where he makes a pretty bold claim. All the complexities of human nature, why people are kind, why they're cruel, all the confusing stuff in between can be unlocked by one single, straightforward idea. This is the foundation for everything he's about to share. And that brings us right to section 2, the 5 soul levels. According to him, this right here is the map. It's the map that explains pretty much everything about where we've been, where we're going, and why we interact the way we do. So what exactly are these soul levels? Well, think of them like stages of growth, like a person going from a baby to a toddler to a teenager to an adult. Each level shapes how a soul sees the world, how it acts, and just how far along it is on its path to what you might call spiritual maturity. This really breaks it down nicely. You start with the new soul, which is just beginning its human experience. Its behavior is pretty raw, very instinct-driven. Then you have the young soul, which is still struggling with all those heavy negative traits, the anger, the jealousy that take lifetimes to work through. And then you have the mature soul. This is the goal: compassionate, tolerant, kind. This is the stage where you start to really get the big picture. And he suggests that this is the path you're on right now. So that leads to a pretty big question, right? If this path is so clear, what's holding us back? Why isn't everyone evolving toward that mature state? Well, that brings us to section 3, because he identifies a major roadblock. He argues that a lot of contemporary religions, while valuable, just aren't digging deep enough to get to this evolutionary truth. And by not going deeper, he says they can sometimes, unintentionally, keep people stuck in what he calls a Stone Age mentality when it comes to real spiritual growth. And this slide just puts it in such stark contrast. On one side, you have what he calls a kindergarten education, where you're just kind of existing within the lines drawn by sacred texts. But on the other side, you have the evolutionary path, which demands a much higher, more profound education. It's about thinking beyond those lines to achieve real spiritual growth. So if the current systems aren't quite enough, what's the answer? Well, that leads us right into section 4. Let's explore this path he talks about, this move beyond kindergarten education and toward a more profound truth. He really grounds all of this in his own life. This isn't just some idea he had. He's speaking from the experience of nearly 78 years of searching. And with all that wisdom, he says with confidence, I have not squandered my time. I have discovered the truth. That carries a lot of weight. Now, this next part is so important to understand. He is not asking anyone to abandon their faith. Not at all. Instead, it's an invitation to expand your thinking, to use what you believe as a launch pad, and to build on it by thinking beyond the usual confines. This higher education he talks about, it's really built on accepting a few core realities. First, that reincarnation and the afterlife are real. And second, that this life is so much shorter than we think. Our time here is limited. That sense of urgency is what drives his entire message. And so, here we are at our final section, section 5, your evolutionary journey. This is where it all comes together and becomes personal. This isn't some abstract lesson anymore. It's a direct, personal call for you to wake up to your own path. This right here is the heart of his plea. Awaken. It's a simple word, but it's powerful. He's urging every single one of us to actively go out and seek a deeper understanding, to really open our souls to an education that goes way beyond the day-to-day. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Because the alternative is, well, it's arriving in the afterlife, looking back, and being filled with dismay. Realizing you spent 60, 70, 80 years on Earth just existing without ever doing the real work of spiritual growth. That is a truly sobering thought. And so, this is where he leaves us. He's laid out the map, he's pointed out the roadblocks, and he's made his heartfelt plea. In the end, he turns it all back to you. Knowing that you are on this incredible evolutionary journey, the only question left that really matters is this: how will you choose to live, starting right now?